Look, the problem with the Australian film industry is it's run by a bunch of egghead poofter types up at the Film Commission, your Philip Adams and so forth, who are always telling you what your film's got to have. It's got to have a certain number of local actors. It's got to have cultural content. It's got to have a decent script and so on. Well, I've got by pretty nicely without any of these things for 20 years, and look where it's got me. Australian films today are all about losers. They're all about Gallipoli or Burke and Wills or Breaker Morat. I remember the days when Australian films were about winners. Blokes like Alvin Purple. See, anyone can make an arty, intellectual Last Days of Shane New flick that no bastard wants to see. I can do it. You give me a week with a camera, a couple of topless chicks, an open-top sports car and a shitload of cash, and I'll give you Out of Africa. But if you want something that's actually going to put bums on seats, something of quality, like, say, The Clinic, then that's going to take a little longer. That's going to take a bit of sensitivity, and that's where I come in. Excuse I.
Warren Perso has been making Australian feature films since the early 70s.
Look, Heinrich, I've seen the rushes, and believe me, it's not more dialogue this film needs, it's Norgs, and plenty of them. Look, just fix it, all right, or you can go back to E Street. Jesus. Got this young bloke helming a picture for me in the Philippines, and we're labouring under creative differences. He sees it as a kind of John Lee Goddard stroke Antonioni stroke Kurosawa think piece, whereas I see it more as a tit flick, so there's a bit of friction there.
If we could talk about your early work, you began by making, I suppose, exploitation pictures?
Yeah, sure, and I make no apologies for that, Judith. Those films were, for their day, very successful. Films like Confessions of a Bloke with a Really Big Donger, Suck Me to Death, the film where I brought together the characters of Dracula and Emmanuel. You might recall the poster line, she went down for the count. I was doing some pretty innovative stuff in those days. People forget, I was the first person in this country to make a film in Norgarama. See, you might call them exploitation films. I prefer to see them as explorations of the Australian psyche.
Yeah, but at the same time, you must admit they were pretty crass and offensive.
Well, what are you referring to?
What about 1974's Filipino Fur Burger?
Look, Filipino Fur Burger, in its original script, was a pretty subtle, sophisticated comedy of manners. Now, I was under a lot of pressure from distributors, drive-in owners, so sure, it did end up being a bit of a tit-fest, but a pretty classy one, I think you'll agree, and what a dream cast. Blundell, Ferrier, Penny, Abigail.
One critic described it as the work of a crude, insensitive, puerile, misogynistic, cretinous, infantile Philistine.
Yeah, but I'm more than just that. Jeez, I don't know where this insensitive thing comes from. Steve-O, can you get that fat chick to bring me another bottle of Homo water?
But in 1975, Perso gained a certain respectability with his movie version of David Williamson's biggest stage hit.
Hey, Ron, mind if I screw your missus? Bugger off. You're not a socialist. Oh, you can talk, you liberal voting poofter.
Hey, Ron's no poofter. I've got photos of him screwing my missus.
Yeah, is that right? I thought he was screwing your missus, Jack. You weak bastard. You wouldn't say that if Gough Whitlam were Prime Minister.
Oh, you don't think so?
No,
you don't think so?
No, yeah.
Hey, steady on, fellas, steady on.
Sorry, Ron, they only had light beers left.
Hey,
Bloody liberals. Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised by the subtlety of that piece. I didn't expect that from me.
Now, your next film in 1978, The Bermagui Bronze, was a multi-million-dollar flop. What went wrong?
Look, I don't know. We had a terrific ad campaign. The Passion.
Listen to me, Barry. Listen to me. Listen to me, Barry. I'm an Iron Man. Your brother's an Iron Man. Your mum's an Iron Man. We're all Iron Men. And what have we got in common? We've all bagged the Bermagui Bronze. And now it's your turn. Go out there and come third. Come third like a real Australian athlete.
The excitement.
Joe, just got the test results from the Institute. They reckon Barry might come second, or even worse, win.
Bugger the Institute, Jock. Bugger 'em. Barry's my son, and if I say he can win the bronze, he bloody well can!
The romance.
Joe, you'll have to choose. It's either me or the Bermagui Bronze.
Listen, Bev, I'm not just doing this for me and Barry. I'm doing this for everyone in this big, brown, flat, mysterious, crazy country who knows what it means to come third for Australia.
The Bermagui Bronze.
David Stratton, writing in The Australian, described it as utterly shithouse.
Oh, yeah, well, he's just being anti.
Now, it was after this you disappeared for a few years,
Yeah, that's when I moved to France.
escaping your creditors.
No, look, hang on. Firstly, let me just say one thing. The film industry here is apart from the odd visionary like your Warwick Kappa, it's a shot bird. But in France, they understand people like me. They understand that, sure, I'm a filmmaker, a craftsman. Sure, I'm a businessman. But hey, I'm also an artist. I am one, Judith, who worships at the temple of cinema. And that's why over there, I was able to get the finance to make my, to date, only genuine art film, French Chicks in the Nutty.
Which has never been released in this country.
Not as yet, no, but I am in the process of stitching up a distribution deal with a mob in Canberra, Caballero Video, I think they're called. Very classy outfit.
Now, on your return, you embarked on your biggest disaster.
Yeah, look, this is what happened. I wanted to make a big budget movie about a great Australian explorer. Now, I concede I may have chosen the wrong one.
Strzelecki, a story of courage and determination as big as Australia itself.
I'm telling you, Strzelecki, it's madness. No one's ever conducted an extensive geological study of the Bathurst and Lower Gippsland regions and lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, I don't think the public was really ready for Strzelecki. In fact, I don't think they ever will be.
How then do you explain your follow-up?
Well, I thought that there was still a great picture in this genre waiting to be made, but in hindsight, maybe we should have waited a bit longer before coming out with Sturt.
Sturt, another story of courage and determination as big as Australia itself.
I'm telling you, Sturt, it's insane. No one's ever undertaken a comprehensive study of the New South Wales inland river system and survived.
Sturt was a good film, but it was no Strzelecki.
What about your third Australian explorer's epic?
Again, possibly a miscalculation.
Mangles!
I'm telling you, Albie, it's crazy.
With the
No one's ever
failure of
attempted
his
a
Explorers
documentary
trilogy,
series
Perso
on
has
this
returned to the kind of films that made him famous. Production has just commenced on his latest, Kelvin, Son of Melvin, Son of Alvin.
You are f***ing kidding me, Alan. You are f***ing kidding. You know we need a big American name to get the Yanks on board. Jesus, Mr. T's pulled out.
He's doing a fellow on the fair stuff for 6 months.
Okay, here's what we do. Go back to Leif Garrett's people and just give them whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. Jesus.
And so the old master is back at work on a movie he hopes will herald a return to the style of filmmaking that made the Australian cinema what it is today.
Now, this is the opening sequence where Kelvin Purple is being pursued by a throng of sexy chicks. As you can see, we've secured the services of Santo Cilauro in the lead. Makes a change of pace from that intellectual bullshit he does on the ABC. Here's Abigail coming out of the shop, the double take, and there's the money shot there. Now, what do you think, Judith? Do you think we should go with, say, this sound effect here? Or, option B, this sound here? Yeah, well, you see, these are the creative choices I'm forced to make every day. No rest for an artist.